Now, I want to take you up to Queensland. Now, Queensland at the moment doesn't have a premier. Well, they have a premier, but she's not in the country. Annastacia Palaszczuk is having an Italian holiday in a break very few even of her colleagues, as I understand it, knew she was taking. Now, amid criticism of her trip, the Premier Palaszczuk, who has been the leader of the Queensland Labor Party now for 11 years, seems like she's been there forever, today she revealed she's suffering health issues and we hope she's okay. She also asks for privacy, and I think everyone thinks that that's something she should have. I guess that's fair enough. But joining me for the latest on what's happening in Queensland is Queensland Opposition Leader Jarrod Bleijie. Jarrod, great to be with you. Welcome to the show. Look, I imagine the last thing you as an opposition, would want, by the way, is the Premier to either quit or be knocked over by her own side before next year's election. She's your best insurance policy, isn't she?
Well, Steve, I think they're all as bad as each other. And the chaos we've seen over the last few days, as the very day that Annastacia flew to Italy for her second European holiday this year, I might add, there was leaks against her in national newspapers. And then over the last few days, it's just been excruciating to watch the auditioning from all the various ministers like Stephen Miles, Shannon Fentiman, and then Cameron Dick came out the day after. And then, not to be outdone, you had Mark Bailey out today trying to say how great he is doing his job. Like, seriously, I think the ringmaster of the circus has gone away to Italy and all the clowns are out to play while the ringmaster's away. That's essentially what's happening in Queensland.
Jarrod, they always say never take a holiday, which is probably right. Are you surprised that she would take 2 overseas non-government business trips in the 1 year?
No, I'm not actually, because every member of Parliament knows, and I'm saying this for the Labor Party as well, because the Labor Party have actually they're the ones who have been leaking all these details against their own leader in the last week, ever since the disastrous week they had in Parliament last week. So it's the Labor Party members leaking against the Premier. France, she was there, France, for 3 weeks in January, now 2 weeks. That's on top of the actual trade mission she's done, which were working overseas trips. But just before they handed down the budget, the Premier was shopping in Sydney, I think 2 days before they were handing down the budget. And the Premier is always very happy in Queensland to be at all the concerts and the rock concerts she goes to and get all the selfies and all the celebrities and all that sort of stuff. So I'm not surprised that, she's away overseas again. And I've been saying for years now, the Premier's checked out, more interested in the red carpet, the glitz and glamour of the job. But Queenslanders are suffering at the moment. We've got a youth crime crisis. Every day we're seeing homes being broken into, people assaulted on our streets. We've got the homeless issue, the housing crisis, the cost of living crisis, and the health crisis. And Premier's away again.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that youth crime crisis. It's not confined to Queensland. Obviously, there's big problems in particularly Victoria, where I am, and we've seen the problems in the Territory. How bad is it in Queensland? You're closer to it than me, Jarrod. How bad and how unsafe do a lot of Queenslanders feel in their homes with these home invasions?
Well, many Queenslanders feel unsafe in their own homes now. I had a press conference with our leader, David Crisafulli, yesterday on the Sunshine Coast. We met a business owner, Jits, who migrated from India to Australia. He was punched in the face a few weeks ago. His brother's nose was broken by a gang of allegedly 15-year-olds and younger. He was then attacked again just this weekend. I had a resident in my own electorate that was broken into at 3 o'clock by 4 alleged offenders only last week, and then the wife and the husband have been up every night since working out who's doing the shifts to make sure they don't come back. People are frightened, and it gets back to when Annastacia Palaszczuk was first elected in 2015, the very first bill that Yvette Darth, now the Attorney General again, introduced into Parliament was to weaken all the youth justice laws in the state. And that now, Queenslanders are suffering the consequences of those weakened laws and fewer police on the beat now than what there was a year ago.